First of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing funds.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD. I got that.
Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Tomorrow, Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
yes,
but an erratic detective is Mickey Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? No, Gildarie, you deal with that. You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Gildarie, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that.
Hi, good evening and welcome once again to this show here. This is the Freddie Kissoon Gildarie show, or Gildarie Freddie Kissoon show. Been away for a little while and it's such a pleasure. Miss you guys. Tonight I saw New York is underwater there, a big part. They've declared certain parts. I think New York City, state of emergency there. I hope that our viewers from that area or followers, that they're keeping themselves safe and away from those floodwaters and everything is all right. Wherever you are again, it's always a pleasure tonight. My co-host, Freddie Kissoon, as usual, very faithful, always here. A lot of stuff would have been transpiring while I was away. I had to go see the family and on emergency, and I really missed the show because I was paying keen attention and interest in New York, going to the New York United Nations President there finale. I think he handled himself well. I looked at his entire presentation there, and we're going to have a discussion tonight. We're going to hit the phones. We want to hear from you guys, and there's a lot of topics, a lot of things to talk about. Cricket, Trinidadians, the cricket fans. One DJ or comedian has decided to say Guyana is not a part of the Caribbean. We just accepted them. It has raised the ire of Guyanese all across not only this nation of ours, across the Caribbean and in North America, as to what really about this country and the role that it plays in the Caribbean. So a whole lot of debate there. What is important to note out of everything that is coming out here is that it is good to see our Guyanese people standing up and being proud of who they are, and that's something that is very, very good for me. And I think for Freddie and the rest of Guyana, we have been in the darkness for a very long time. And when you see a country that is rising, especially with our recent victory there at the Guyana Amazon Warrior. I was in New York and I sat and there was I saw tears in the room as Guyana clinched that or the Guyana Amazon Warrior. Few foreign players cleanse that victory. It meant a lot for people. A country that's waiting almost a decade, or a team that's waiting almost a decade, backed by the entire Guyana, and it was millions of people watching that show. The Guyanese people were rooting for the team. I walked on Liberty Avenue and saw roadside stands and bars and everything set up, and people were clapping, people were shouting, people were giving a criticism. But let me stop here because Freddie Kissoon is in the house as usual, and I presume he has a couple of things to say before we banter a little, and then we open the lines. We want to hear from you guys.
Thank you, Leonard. Hi there, welcome to the program once again. The prodigal son is back, Leonard Gildarie. I don't know if you believe in the Almighty. I'm not a believer, but maybe the devil is at work or was at work. The show was not advertised today. I mean, the show, today is the last day of 15 months we've had this show. And this is the third time they've been a slip up. The advertisement announcing who's the guest, because that's important. People want to know who's the guest, because if they know it's somebody that will bring out information which turns into knowledge, and that knowledge will benefit their understanding of their country or the world or history, they want to know who's the guest. Now, this is the third time. One time the advertisement was not put up until after 5, and today there was no advertisement. Maybe the devil was at work, if you believe in the devil and believe in God. So let's hope that doesn't happen for the 4th time. I mean, this program do have its viewership, and people do look out for the call-ins and the interviews, because things are brought out that you need to know. I mean, for example, if you were here this week, you would know that the Starbuck News had a headline screaming, Charandas Prasad to appear in front Legal Practitioners Committee. That's a very formidable, serious, important body. When you appear in front of that as a lawyer, you're either going to be disciplined or you may have your license taken away. It turned out that Charandas was asked to appear in front of the committee on a complaint that was raised in 2014, and it now came up into to be looked at. And what it is, a man said that Charan didn't turn up for his case, and at that time Charan was away, fled for his life. So it's not anything serious. So people look at the show because a body of knowledge is formed individually for them. So we hope there wouldn't be a 4th time that the advertisement is not put up. So we go until 9:30, until 10 o'clock. So please call in and talk about anything. Now, the advertisement for today's show was call in, strictly politics, or maybe whatever is on your mind. So it cut both ways. You could talk about politics, or you could talk about whatever is on your mind. I will just quickly respond to something Gildarie said, and then I will tell you what is on my mind. I don't think people should take seriously some of the lunatic things that you see on Facebook. I don't know who's the guy that said, we don't consider Guyana part of the Caribbean, we only tolerate them. Why would anyone...
We accepted them, this week said. We accepted them.
Why would anyone want to reply to that? It wasn't an official of the UN said that. It wasn't a member of the opposition party of any Caribbean country. It's just some fool has access to Facebook, and he said that. Maybe you shouldn't...
No, he sat at a program, a podcast, and while I think the issue of the chicken curry chicken come up, and
can I cut you and ask you, do you know who's this person?
I never hear, but hold on. But I think what the significance of the significance of that, Freddie, is the way that I see Guyanese are really taken to heart. They have pride, the way that they walk. Imagine I opened the papers, I think it's today, and I saw Venezuela landing by the boats here.
Well, I'm coming to that.
So that is interesting for me. But what you see, I think what is significant is the spirit of this country is
okay,
ours.
But I think the social media generates the emanations of lunatic people, stupid people, extremist people, and I would be concerned and devote this program to some parliamentarian, some minister of the Caribbean community of nations saying something like that. You know, Gildarie, I go on YouTube and I see some of the things that's said about you and I. And this program, man, Gildarie can't ask a proper question. Man, Freddie get old and jaded, to ask a question. And you just let it go. People going to say anything. If I see someone who's an intellectual and tell me that I can't ask a proper question, then I am going to respond to that. But so be it. Now, a set of Venezuelans landed at Tushin, people with clothes, food, money. They said that they have relatives here. I heard the police said that they will deport them back to Venezuela.
Unacceptable.
I hope not. I hope not. When people are fleeing misery, I have a daughter and I wanted the best for her. I wanted her to go and have an education. And she went and she did 2 masters. And I believe all parents should have that for their kids. And when you have a kid and you can't enter a school because your country is in trouble, it is not for you to flee to another country so you can provide for your family. I want you to read my column in the Chronicle on Sunday. That column I would regard as one of the most traumatic I have written. It's about people who are in influential places in the world saying that they don't have any use for refugee. Let me give you one example before Gildarie comes in. When I read what this woman said, I had to write that column. A woman was a refugee. When she was 8, her parents ran away from whatever future she didn't have. And she went to Holland. She said she could remember when her mother came to Holland, all she came with is a Gucci bag, and what she had in that Gucci bag is all she brought. This woman joined a political party now campaigning to be Prime Minister of Holland. And you're not going to believe what she said. And when I read this, I said I have to do a column on it. She said she will curtail refugees in Holland and curtail family reunification. A woman who came 8 years old to Holland and all her mother had was a little bag with clothes inside, and she wants to stop refugees going to Holland. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that there is a presidential candidate in the US, a clown, a fool, a jack, who said that his parents came to the United States with $40, and he is campaigning on an anti-immigrant bandwagon that US is getting too much immigrants. He will stop immigration. Those are the kinds of things that motivated my column Sunday coming in the Chronicle. How could human beings descend to that kind of anti-human level? I repeat again, when I became a father, I wanted the best for my daughter, and everyone in this world should have that. I call upon the government this evening to make sure we do not violate international law in relation to refugees and let those people come that landed in Tushin and join their family. Thanks, Gildarie, for that tirade.
No, thank you very much, Freddie. And I fully agree with you on that. I think we have signed on to a lot of agreements, international agreements, and we have to do what is right. But not only that, too, I think what is significant here is that you would have seen over the years, we have gone to other places. Now the table is turned. We could only do what is right, what is the correct thing.
God, we want every country.
And not only that, there is an economic side to that, too. We are short of labor right now. The government is, you heard the figures.
Yeah, they said 200,000. Nicholas Boyle.
So, look, they are filling a big void that is very much there. The issue also that is coming up, I think, and I come back to this because what was remarkable for me is how this country is rising in terms of that pride that is happening, and you see it. I come back to Irfan Ali as the president of Guyana, and when he sat on that program there with Good Morning Britain. I'm not sure whether you were able to raise it, but I thought it was I thought this was remarkable. It's not easy sitting there, and these guys are seasoned broadcasters, and they were asking you these questions, and it's very clear that man was very disrespectful.
Well, the president is a seasoned politician.
Right. But he was slapping his hands on the table. I think one in the newspaper.
That's the intimidate.
Right.
Yes.
This is the president of a country, however small that you think it is. But I think the president, I looked at it. Many persons would have probably buckled because the questions were posed in such a way.
The man is a seasoned politician.
The man was able to write that.
He has a doctorate
but
in
it is good for our country.
sciences.
It is good for our country that you were able to stand on such platforms and deliver and defend yourself. And not only that, to make a case is not a Guyana case that you're talking about reparations or you're demanded that there be justice for the victims of slavery and their ancestors and so on. You have to be able to defend that, and I think we did well on the international scene. Also making a case for the Venezuelan thing. But let us stop here. You guys would have heard the cricket is something that is done well for Guyana.
There's a calling. Numbers are on the screen.
Yeah, the numbers are on the screen. 637-1071. I think there's a call. Let's go right into it. Good evening, caller.
Hello.
Hi, yes, go right ahead, sir.
All right. Hi, guys. Good evening. All right. I would like to endorse Freddie's passionate plea about the Venezuelans coming into to Guyana and throughout the world. However, I do not subscribe. To no immigration laws and stuff like that. However, I understand, I totally agree with Freddie that, okay, we need to be passionate and we should be passionate, because when Guyana was down and out, we went to Venezuela and places like Trinidad and whatever. And again, I'm gonna endorse Freddie's position, your position also, Leonard. But I also am going to reiterate, I do not endorse what we call laws in connection with immigrations and whatever. However, in connection with the CPL, hooray, hooray, hooray. Go Guyana, go. You're going to win next four tournament because we have break the ice. And I heard you guys spoke about some so-called the public figure talk about Guyana is not part of the Caribbean. Whatever. That guy is a comedian. He is not. He doesn't speak for the entire Caribbean. He does not speak for the entire Caribbean. My personal position is that we have won the tournament, and we are going to continue to win the tournament for the next maybe 10 years, 15 years, because we have break the ice. And I'm going to plea with people from throughout the Caribbean. Enjoy the game, enjoy the sport. Stop this emotional charge up, unnecessary bantering. It's not called for.
All right.
Curry, chicken curry, and this nonsense is absolute pollution as far as I'm concerned.
It is good to have the kind of emotions that run high. You're back in your team, but we cannot do it at the expense.
It's uncalled for. I have seen people being beaten up in the States. I've seen people
Hooligans.
It hurts me badly, buddy.
Yep. Especially in the soccer sport and so on. All right. Thank you very much. Good points that you've made there. Thank you for coming through.
Take care, man. Bye.
So 231-2982, and you could also call us on 637-1071. Let's hear those calls. Let's talk about anything under the sun. Let's talk about corruption or perceived corruption. Let's talk about the opposition. Freddie Kissoon. In the meantime, the calls are coming through. A very important meeting took place in Washington, D.C. with the opposition. Did we see a statement coming out from that? What happened? What did they achieve? What did the U.S. authorities say to them?
Well, I read that if there are any caller coming, let's give way to the caller. But I read that they sent something to the U.S. government. But the comicality, the ludicrousness of it cannot miss you. You can't complain to the U.S. government about things that are going on. And the U.S. government just said, oh, okay, all right. You have to present a dossier, which anybody who entered the university would tell you that the world gains knowledge because of research findings, because of research results. And that forms a body of knowledge, and it's perpetuated throughout the history of civilization. So you know these things because your research discover these things, and they now form part of a body of knowledge. I live in Guyana, and I have seen no research from any NGO, any civil society group, a dossier, the kind of thing that Joel Bagwandin produces. Anyway.
Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Gildarie. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yes.
Strictly politics, or maybe other things that you have on your mind. I just want to shine a little light on the way how I see this current administration is running this country. And it's very sad to see, as a young person coming up who loved politics from since 1992, I could recall myself following politics until now. And I keep telling myself, and I keep telling people that I had a little bit of PNC. I had a little bit, 23 years under the PPP. Then I had 5 years again under the PNC, APNO, and now again the PPP. And I could put all in a boat and do something with it, right? Now, Mr. Gildarie, you tell me if this makes sense. Why we spending billions of dollars in health care, where we could spend billions of dollars feeding the nation healthy? Does it make sense spending billions of dollars in health care and we don't have a proper public health system? And we're giving way to the private health care where people can go. If your wife is pregnant and they got to go for delivery at a public thing, it's over 500,000. And it's very sad. And every year you're watching the budget, billions of dollars are being spent on public health care.
All right, so that's a contribution. Thank you very much. I'll respond to that, and then Freddie could probably weigh in. All right, budgets are presented or are prepared in a very structured manner. They are proposals from NDCs, RDCs, central government, and that goes to a budget department, and they look at the total budget, the income and the expenditure of the government, and then they make their budget and they say, we can't afford this year, and they come forward. Now, with regards to that, you must spend on health. You must spend on hospitals. You must build new hospitals. You must buy equipment. But I've seen complaints of people going to hospitals and there are not drugs there. I don't know if you could boast of billions of dollars being spent by the Ministry of Health if you can't get basic things like aspirins. There's a combination of that. We have increased in our population. So if you go to Diamond Hospital, for instance, you're going to see a lot of Venezuelans and so on there. The fact is that our system is overburdened. The other thing is you got a lot of inefficiencies. People don't order medication. The Ministry of Health has been talking about this for a very long time. They will tell you that the inefficiencies by administration of various hospital and health centers, by the time they send aspirins, is 5 months later after it was been requisitioned or needed. That's because the people didn't send the requisition for it. There's another thing that's happening at the hospital, at the healthcare system. A lot of the administrators, we're being told, are stealing the stuff and selling it to pharmacies. They have run-ins going on the side. Sometimes you have short medicines going to those places. So there's a couple of things that's wrong. Then if you're also speaking about the delivery of services, whether there's enough nurses and emergency workers and so on, you have a big problem right now. I think it's common knowledge. We're short of 100, 200,000 persons, and the healthcare system has been affected by the Freddie.
Well, there are two aspects to his delivery. I am not going to sit down here and reject or deny a person who felt that they didn't get medical assistance. I mean, not in that position. Who knows it, feels it. So I don't think we should say, you know, what happened to you? The system is all right. Because if they went into the system and they didn't get served, I think one has to understand that. On the other hand, I think there is a lot in the budget that is assigned to the hospitals. The Georgetown Hospital has its detractors. It has its criticism, some of which are very valid, but it tries. And so I think we can meet the guy halfway. We can understand that you can't go, no poor person has $500,000 for a delivery at a private hospital. And when you go to a hospital, you need to be looked after. But on the other hand, things are not as dismal as some people make it out to be. Far from it. I mean, I would say that's my contribution in that. You have to meet him and understand what he's saying.
People have expectations. Yeah. I just came back from New York, and one thing that has been drilled in my head, Freddie, you dare not be without insurance in places like in America. One of the worst things you could do is fall sick and go to the hospital and you don't have insurance. Any kind of procedures, any kind of blood work or anything that you got to do, the first thing that they ask, do you have there are places that accept you, but some way or the other. I know a man, and I'm going to tell to you after this, who was it? He went and do, I think, a surgery overseas, then come back here, and he didn't pay the bill. And then he had to renew his visa. When he went to the embassy said, did you owe a hospital across there? Visa denied. So these things could come again.
They send that information.
Oh, they had it. And I'll tell you who it is, somebody that you know very well. But the point is, medical facilities, health and everything, hospitals, they're very expensive propositions in any part of the world. Medications, it's big business. So it is.
Gildarie, I had an experience last week. I take people all the time to the police station, passport, GRA. And last week I took someone that worked on our house when we were building it, and it's quite a nice guy. And they told him the colonoscopy, the examination of his colon, that, I'm telling you something that happened last month. He could only get that in January. Mm-hmm. So that was last month. That was August, September. And this guy was troubling with something. And you don't want to use contacts, but I know he needed it. And so I used my contacts, I don't want to say who, for him to get a colonoscopy. Now, I think our health system, compared to other developed countries where you have to pay, is doing well. But I was shocked to know that the colonoscopy, if you go in September for one, you could only get one in February next year.
Yeah, it is a very difficult time. I don't think The other thing, which in the meantime, well, where are you guys? You guys sleeping tonight? Cricket is over. 231-2982 or 637-1071. Let's talk about anything under the sun.
But the reason for that is because people probably didn't know there was a program.
Oh, yes,
There was no advertisement.
The other thing that is interesting to me, I was speaking to somebody from GPL. They got a severe problem. Would you imagine that our demand for electricity is moved from about an average of about 140, I think is megawatts per day, I think it is, to 182. Right about now, GPL, because the generators are down, I think the capacity is about 200 megawatts.
Yeah, blackout when I was coming here.
They have to take off people off power because people are using the AC. Today's temperature was about 36 degrees outside. I was measuring for my car.
I don't have AC, so I'm not.
No, but you go into your car, you don't use AC.
No,
if you put it to AC, you
I think we discussed this on this program already. I could never drive with the seawall with the car windows up.
Yeah, because you want to sing and listen to
and the breeze.
Good evening, caller. Go right ahead.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Mr. Gildarie,
Yes, sir.
I talked to you a couple of times.
You did?
I am one of the most knowledgeable agriculturists this country got.
Yes, I think you did talk to me. Yes.
And I can fix guys too.
You can.
And nobody listening to me.
Yeah, have you been speaking to the Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar, or anybody there?
Talk to him. He said
Can you just stop there? You're qualified, you have experience, and you worked
you
in
know
the
me when I was manager of the zoo.
Manager of the zoo?
Guyana Zoo, you know me there.
Right, and you think you can run Gaisuku?
I can fix it.
You can fix Gaisuku, so you don't think
make it the hub of our
but you don't think in this modern world, any part of the world, when you go to a government and say you can fix one of the largest corporation, they wouldn't ask you where you were educated, what are your experience in agriculture.
Right, let me tell you something.
No, if you're employing someone, you said you work at the zoo.
Hold on.
You said I know you.
Hold on, let me get some information quickly, man.
Yeah.
I studied at Auburn University in agriculture.
Pardon me?
I studied at Auburn University in American agriculture. I was agriculture officer Region 3 and fisheries officer Region 3. Everyone else not agriculture, you know.
If the government asks you to give them a help for the Gaisuku, and then maybe you think you're willing?
Yes, I don't talk to these people already.
And what are they saying? They're saying they don't want you?
Listen to me. The previous administration, before they closed on Gaisuku, I talked to the Minister of Agriculture, I talked to the Prime Minister, I talked to all the people.
And what's your name, sir? You want to give your name over this thing here? You want to let them know that you are qualified, the Guyanese?
My name is Peter K2. I was agriculture officer for Region 3 and fisheries officer.
And you're saying that you as a Guyanese is highly qualified and you have lent or you have offered your services.
Are you willing to have these people?
But you have experience. You say you were trained in aquaculture.
Yes.
So do you have experience in the sugar industry?
The man said.
Worked in Gaisuku, Ifrot and Blemont.
For how long?
I was in charge of the legume program at the crops and the fisheries program at Blemont.
And you were involved in sugar production?
I was involved for the sugar production.
For how long?
I sent the recommendation to make and fix this place.
All right. Here what I would suggest that you do then. Let's put this to a case where our government is very serious. Listen to me. I want you to do this, and you're going to come back and report to us the next call. If you could go next week with your credentials to the Minister of Agriculture's office and says, I'm here.
No, but it's not so easy, Gildarie. You have retirement age. You have...
But if I'm saying to you, I'm qualified, I want to help.
No,
but you could be Freddie Kissoon. You could be 90 years old. You could still make a contribution.
No. It doesn't work like that.
I'm not asking to be paid.
You can't go to a government and say, I want to work in Gaisuku.
I'm not asking to be paid, but I could...
Which government in the world
is not saying that. The man is saying, I want to help. That's how I understood it.
But how you know the government doesn't have its quota of skill to help?
Are you saying that this government has a policy of refusing anybody that asks them to help them?
I don't think governments operate like that. I hear the government, somebody come and say, I can help in chiefs production. And you just say, yes, come on board. There are things like security, you check people background.
Freddie
you
Kissoon, the man is not saying the man is not saying that. Go ahead.
You have a concept that people who win a university and got enough experience with paper and document, that you have to have people who got common sense and people who know what they're about. You want to tell something what you don't know?
All right, here what you gonna do, my brother, man. I want you to listen to me very carefully.
I think nobody can fix.
This is for Gildarie.
Why do you think nobody can fix, guys?
Oh, hold on, man, you just getting just like Freddie now. You're not listening. I'm saying for you to go, sir.
You won't listen either.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I just come back with
you won't listen either.
My brother man here. I love Guyanese and I want everybody to make the contribution. That's my philosophy. And I don't care whether you're 69, whether you're 70, whether you're 90. If you believe you want to help Gaisuka and you're willing to offer your services to them, whether free of cost, whether you're asking for something, there's nothing stopping you under the sun to making that proposal to the government. It is up to them. No, when you go back and do that, and if the Minister of Agriculture says, we don't want you, come back and say that, and we would like you to ask them, why not?
Stay in the line. You didn't say that you made the proposal to them? Well, you've been gone more than 3 minutes now.
1 minute, buddy.
Well, okay, 1 minute, and then you'll be off.
You think about people who got qualification and all them. You have to have people who got intelligence and people who know what they're about. Imagine all them scientists. You think they've been at a university? You have to have knowledge. You got to know what you're about.
All right, brother man. Brother man, you go into that next week, and we're going to put it at test.
All right, good. Gildarie made a suggestion to you.
Yes.
Please walk in it.
And let me know back. You have my number. You let me know back, and I would like to know. And I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know why they refuse you.
Right. Get back to us after you have spoken to the government ministers. Okay?
I don't have
right.
to talk to Ashley Singh. I talked to you already.
Okay. Well,
talk. They're interested what you got to say.
Okay. Talk to them again.
Did you ask them why they're not interested?
Just like how you feel that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Who said that, sir? Who said it? I don't do.
And he said it just now.
I didn't say that.
I never said that. I said, look, Gildarie made a suggestion to you.
Let me know back.
Follow that up. Thanks for coming through.
Let me know about that, sir. Let me know back. I want to hear. Thank you very much. Good evening, caller.
Hi, Gildarie. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. Go ahead.
Good. I don't know if you watched the presentation of the final cricket couple days ago. When the Honorable President Irfan Ali was handing out the medals to the Trinidadians, as soon as he put it around their neck, just a couple feet away from the start when they were walking away, they were removing the medal from their neck. Even the captain did it before he started speaking to Daranganga, the interview. Does anyone know why they did that? I mean, that was kind of rude.
I saw that, and because of ignorance, I couldn't draw a conclusion because I saw an argument against that. Somebody said it has something to do with a ceremony or some ceremonial, some kind of thing. But if it is indeed the case, I had some severe issues in that the president of Guyana is there, just like how the British presenter slammed his hand on the table when he was interviewing the president. I have an issue that if the president is present in a place and he is just given you a medal for taking part and doing well in the competition, may not have won. You got to show the president that kind of respect. Our country demands it. Any part of the world demands it.
Yeah, but the Trinidadian team, I wouldn't say the Trinidadian Cricket Board, the TKR team, did management issue a statement to that effect as to why that was done?
I think there needs to be some clarification for us. Like I said before, I saw some explanation or explanation in inverted commas there that suggested that you don't keep on the medals as a losing team. I didn't know what to make of that. I have no idea. But what I do know, or what I believe that they did it deliberately. And if that's the case, they have disrespected the president of Guyana, by extension, the people. I think that contrasted or contradicted what Kieran Pollard did. He says the better team won today, so I don't understand. I don't understand.
Oh,
I think it was downright rude. If they didn't want, they could wait until they got into the dressing room and then remove it.
Yep.
But not in the presence of President Ali and the entire nation.
I agree with you, and we got to demand better, and our country must be shown the respect. Thank you very much for coming through, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye. Right. Good evening, caller.
Hello, good night.
Good night. Go right ahead.
Okay, I kind of agree with the employment thing where you're saying that there's a shortage of skilled staff. And if you try to get to anybody, anyone in a ministry, you can't get past the secretary. And you try to add in your qualification or your application, nothing happens. So I'm saying those people who coming out to university also, they're skilled people. They're because they have to do attachment. But the thing is, you're not getting employees.
Could you give us some more clarifications here, because I'm not sure.
I'm talking about these road projects. I'm talking about civil engineers, things like that coming out to university.
Critic, I understand get a big project today. He is building, everybody's getting in on something. Look, I am all, and I think any Guyanese.
What contract you think?
I think somebody says that he got to build a pump station. We can come to it.
Guyanese critic?
Our Guyanese critic. But look, I like the fact that everybody could get a part in the project, but it contrasts because sometimes if you go to the tender board, let's talk about projects. Or you want to make a point and then we could comment on it.
My point is, it's just a simple thing of getting employees. That's all. You're saying that there's a shortage of skilled people, right? So then how would you be skilled if you're not?
Well, I think people need. I think we need. But I don't understand that. We need engineers.
I went into the bank, and the bank says that there's a shortage. People ain't going to the bank anymore and work. I happen to know that for a fact. They said they ain't getting people to go work there. The people that they take to work there.
The bank?
Yes, the bank. I can't call the bank.
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you an engineer? You graduate as an engineer, and you're not hearing from you're not getting response on your application?
No, and then I even went into to get to ministers and nothing. You can't.
What are you qualified in?
Civil engineer.
And you have a degree in civil engineer?
Correct.
And you haven't found employment?
No.
Look. You gotta call Freddie or call me or something.
Minister Edghill will be on this program in 2 weeks' time. Could you take my cell number and Gildarie's number and call me next week? My cell number is 614-5927. Call me.
Okay.
614-5927. Gildarie's number, WhatsApp number is on the screen there. Please call me. I will raise it with Minister Edghill when I hear from you.
Yeah, and I think I need to know more about the story. Call us and let us know. There got to be something else to that story.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for coming through. Well, Freddie, I don't understand if they're short. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller. Hello.
Good night.
Yes, you got to lower your volume right away, please.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
I'm on the Freddie show.
Yes, you're on to the Freddie show. Freddie on it.
Okay, good night, sir.
I don't get paid for it. I don't get paid for it.
GTU woman, right?
Which woman?
The GTU woman.
The what?
I'm not sure I got you right.
GTU.
GTU, Guyana Teachers.
GTU President, Coretta McDonald.
Yes, but somehow or the other, you guys, you're doing a wonderful job, but in some instance, you guys didn't answer this woman correctly.
No, you can't be the people that went this wrong here. You got to think, look, let me answer that right away there. I have received those criticisms. People said, but you should have taken the people look, the Guyanese people are not stupid people, or people abroad who are listening.
You mentioned something about that, right? What
right.
they did. but they can realize this government much VAT, right? We remove that on education, health, and a number of things that this government puts rated. Another thing she talked about truck driver, right? How much people want to drive truck? So definitely there's an increase in productivity in Guyana.
Yeah, I agree.
But listen, Saul, there are certain parameters that you have to, or latitude that you have to allow. That you have.
I am a teacher, but she needs to be taught.
Okay, just listen.
Stupid excuse about the
No, hold on.
No, just listen.
Release the SOP.
All right, good. All right, we take your point. Thanks for coming through. Thanks.
Good, right?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good, right.
I want to say good night to everybody who's tuned in to us here tonight, including contractor Peter Lewis. He says he's ready to offer employment to that lady who wants to be an engineer. Good evening, Carlo.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you back, Mr. Gildarie.
You sound very happy tonight. Is it because of Amazon?
Well, yes. We could lose 6 in a row. Statistically improbable.
All right.
We have to win one, and it came at the right time, I think.
People need it.
The upward movement of the country. It's all part of the upward movement. But we got downward movement going on here because we are under severe attack by the global climate. Unfortunately, humans since the Industrial Revolution have messed with the environment and the atmosphere, and now the atmosphere and the environment taking revenge for we. Today, we reached 96 degrees. What?
In Guyana?
Yeah, in Guyana.
Yes, outside was about 36.
They reported it in Celsius when you convert it.
Right.
Right. Now, but that's not the only problem. All Guyanese, especially senior citizens and middle-aged people, should be knowledgeable of something called the heat index. You just have to Google it. There's a big chart with different red and yellow and so colors. Each color tells you about the severity of a combination, and the combination is temperature on one axis and humidity on the other axis, like the y-axis and the x-axis. So if you have a particular temperature with a particular humidity, right, especially if the humidity is high, it's 70% and over, you have an apparent temperature which is much higher than the absolute temperature. So, like today, the absolute temperature was 96 degrees Fahrenheit.
Very quickly, sir. Go ahead.
But the apparent temperature was 110. So a person would be imagining that he's feeling 110 degrees, not 96. And under these conditions, you become dehydrated extremely quickly. Right? And if you're not careful, you can collapse.
Yeah. The folks got to keep themselves, and that's why we have some severe problems. GPL, so they can't keep up with the rising demand for electricity now, and they blame that on AC and AC and so on. A couple of generators are down, but people got to protect themselves. So because the sun is extremely hot. It is bad. I left. Imagine I left New York and it was getting like maybe about 6 degrees.
Yeah.
Which is what happens.
I suggest that you Google heat index.
All right.
And look at the chart and try to understand it and learn it.
Thank you very much. So lecture time there now. I thank you very much for coming through. Bye. Okay, we have some other calls. The guys are coming through. Let us go right again. Good evening, Carlo. Hello.
Yes, hi, Bernard.
Hi. Yes, go ahead.
I'm so happy that Freddie will have touched or replied to that person who say that he or she, well, it sounds like a female person, an engineer, and was having problem getting employment in Guyana. Freddie, I'm going to ask you personally. I was pushing for an individual by the name of Suren Singh, somebody that you know you would have taught at UG. Suren Singh from SQ, from Wickenham, went back to Guyana after PPP would have won the elections in 2020. And he went there as a patriot. And to date, he was never employed. He's now employed by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And he's still willing to come back in Guyana because he's a patriot. And I am hurt. I'm surprised. I've spoken to, in the capacity, spoken to Gail, Kroll, PM, Mark Phillips in New York. And they just give me a deaf ears.
But you would accept that employment, especially in specific positions, would based on a demand, because you might have an idea what you want, but it might not necessarily be.
What is the person schooled in? What's the person qualified in?
Engineering.
No, we need civil engineering. That's in demand. I thought it was a classic. I thought it was a classic.
I will reiterate my position. He was responsible for the Hope Canal.
I think I have an idea who that person is.
The guy that Suren Singh from Wickenham on the SEU.
He's responsible for the Hope Canal that I travel on every weekend by Ansgrove there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well. Thank you very much for that.
I can personally forward you his number tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
And you can contact him.
Yes, I will. But wait, I don't understand. When you spoke to these ministers, they didn't say, well, give me his number, contact me. They didn't say anything like that?
No. You know what Gail told me? And I was so surprised what Gail told me? Ask him to make an application.
But you don't got to make an application. What's wrong with that?
But that's an automatic bureaucratic response.
Make an application.
Yeah.
The application is official.
Did the guy make an application?
Freddie, did you heard I said he went back to Guyana to serve his country?
No, but that is not the question. Going back to Guyana to serve his country, I understand that and accept that. Did he make an application?
I do not want to say this on air. I'll talk to you tomorrow about it, because you know what? If I have to be graphic,
I'm
not hearing you guys.
Yeah. We listen.
All right, we hear what you're saying.
You have my cell number?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much for coming through.
Okay. Bye.
You understand that guy engineered the Hope Canal? I don't understand that.
All right, we're not taking any video calls at the moment. Y'all don't give us video calls. Thanks. It is 231-2982, or you could get 637-1071. Coming back to Freddie, I couldn't understand this thing with GPL. We have to.
We had blackout when I came here.
No, but based on what GPL is saying, based on what GPL is saying for the next year or so until they get, or at least in the next couple months, until they get the generators back and they get some more generating sets, expect that we're gonna have to tighten belts a little. And they're asking you to conserve because the demand for electricity has risen very, very sharply. Good evening, Carlo.
Hey, good evening. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I'm calling with reference to a letter I saw in Fabric News, I think about 2 days ago. Where a writer was saying that when he looked into the crowd, he was wondering how that can be a one Guyana, referring to the fact that most of the crowd were of Indian looks, First of all, how would Stabrook News allow such a stupid thing to be published? And it makes me wonder what, people are just encouraging this racist thing more than ever.
I would have
when you finish, don't go off the line. You
okay,
finish.
Hear the other thing I want to tell you. I'm calling from Florida, and I used to be a Spanish teacher for years. I've taught over 40 years, and I saw the president saying that.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, Freddie. Yo te conozco muy bien.
No, no understand.
I know you very well, Freddie, from UG days, but you probably won't remember me. That's okay. Anyway, I've been a Spanish teacher for many years, and I've taught in many places. And when I saw that, I was so happy. I felt this was the time for me to go back and contribute to Guyana. I spoke to the president once. I sent him an email, and I sent an email to the Minister of Education, right? Still haven't heard from them. So but all the caller was saying about they talk about wanting people from the diaspora to come back, but I don't know how serious they are.
I tell, look, my thoughts on this. You've raised a very fundamental issue, and I've been thinking about it, especially starting early this week. A couple of things happened and transpired. The policymakers, like the government, would give directives, and the central government and the officials are carrying it out. You can't expect the president and the vice president and some ministers to know what is happening. They're supposed to know. But you find sometimes that the tail is wagging the dog, and I've been receiving increasing complaints. Engineers, and let me make it very clear, because I'm getting really, really tired. I tell Freddie Kissoon this morning I want to end this show. And the reason why I wanted, no, I'm serious about it. It's not a laughing story. I wanted to end the show because I believe.
Opt out of the show.
Yeah, well, I wanted to end my part of the show. And the reason for that, I believe that there's a couple of people who are doing things in this country that the president has absolutely no idea what they're doing, because he would not condone. I don't believe Irfan Ali, neither Jack Dio, President Irfan Ali, Vice President Jack Dio, and a couple of the ministers that I know very personally are tolerating the kind of corruption and the bribery. I sat down on a plane coming back on Monday night, and I saw an engineer, he has to be an engineer, with a ministry document on his computer open up doing a whole lot of jiggery. It looks like that to me. I said not a word and come out because it would be a problem tonight.
Well, you were looking at the man.
No, because the thing is right in front of me, Freddie Kissoon. Why am I not looking?
No, but
what I'm just saying that sometimes the upper leaders, the leaders that are up there, the echelon, they're not very, they don't know what is happening down there. They're doing their own thing, and they need to open their eyes and start micromanaging in some cases, because it's unbelievable the delivery of services and some of the corruption that's taking place.
But anyway, you strayed a little part away with the guy saying applications.
I spoke to him, and I emailed him copying the Minister of Education. At least somebody at some point. I know they don't answer.
No. You have to have a system where people reply. You have to have a system where educated, skillful people apply.
Often to come. I retired. I don't want a big contract. I am just wanting to offer my services, and I think I know a little bit about teaching Spanish.
Well, you're going to be employed. Spanish is now compulsory from primary school up.
But so, Freddie, I ain't gonna beg. I ain't begging nobody. I will listen to your show like I always do, and I see this guy. I hear this guy talk about being the engineer and so on, and Gildarie giving him some advice on what. And I say, just let me call and voice my opinion. I don't know if they're gonna bother with me, and I can't be bothered. But they'll not let them bother me about the cricket, where the guy, I think he's insinuating that the government is fighting it for Indo-Guyanese.
There are worse letters than that in the stab book on Kaicho pushing ways. Let me tell you a letter that was published by the Kaicho News, by the stab book news. I'm in journalism 35 years now. 35. Not 35 months, 35 years. And I saw a letter in the stab book news that the next day I wrote a column responding to it, because I do a daily column for the Chronicle. You should see this letter. I read
it every day.
How it's insulting to the president. When he done with the cricket, he addressed the nation and he gone back to his salt and bacon saltfish. Right. This man is like a DJ. This man's a DJ. He's all over the place liming. I'm telling you, I've been 35 years in journalism. Gildarie's 20 years. And I'm telling you, no self-respecting editor would have carried that letter. No
Thank you very much.
Look, anyway, thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming through, sir. Bye-bye.
Freddie, you said you want me to hold on or no?
No, I wanted to tell you about that. I wanted to tell you about the.
I read the newspapers every day, so I'm aware of that, and I saw it, and I'm saying these people are pushing race too much.
Well, we should not accept it. We don't need idiots like that in this place.
They don't appreciate it.
This country cannot take it. We have to be very serious. Put your head in business. Get yourself learned or schooled or whatever it is, and get yourself. Don't expect a handout from the government. Don't expect a handout from the government.
Before you go, Saul. Before you go, you listening?
Yes, sir.
Why was
Gildarie?
Why was Gildarie looking at what was on the man's laptop?
Because the man sitting in front of me, Freddie Kissoon.
You can't help it, man. You can't help it.
The man is there and the thing is open. And
you couldn't look elsewhere.
I saw the ministry thing pop up and I want to know why is he opening the thing and he playing with figures. But I didn't want to say that. I said, Gildarie, shut your mouth, come out the plane and go home. I later, my brother. God bless. Bye-bye.
That was smart.
What was smart? But me shut my mouth?
He was too fast.
Yes. Later. Bye-bye. Sometimes you got to shut your mouth, man. Bye-bye. There's a caller, Freddie. Okay. It is 231-2982 or 637-1071. Let's get the calls, folks. Good evening, caller.
Hey, good evening, Leonard and Freddie. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, I've been watching this program here, and there's a couple of very striking things that cross my mind. I'm from the diaspora here, and I'm calling to say that, many of these folks from the diaspora who are calling in are expecting that the government should react to them directly. There are several hundreds of people who are offering their services. There is a process. The president and even vice president made it very clear that the government cannot employ everybody, that there are more opportunities to be an entrepreneur. Come and set up a business and offer your service. That fellow who called and said he can offer Spanish service, come and set up a tutoring service. The government cannot, you're going to overload the system. They have to understand there's a process. You can't expect to meet the president at a meeting in Queens, New York, and expect, I give you my name, you should call me. No, this is unbelievable, that they expect that, they're entitled to certain things. I think they're going through the wrong process. And then some of these folks who are, many of them, are part of the oil and gas network in New York here, who are really pissed at the government because they expect that they should be called. One of them I recognize clearly, and he was the one. Anyway, I'm not going to the personality. So they need to follow the process.
He called on this program? The post you knew called on this? He called on this program this evening?
Yeah, prior to this other diaspora guy who called in before.
And you know,
talking about the Hope Canal guy. There's more to it than that, right? I'm not going to say anything, but they have to follow a process. The government cannot employ everyone from the diaspora. There are many more opportunities beside, being an entrepreneur. Look how many people are developing, set up a school and that kind of stuff. Civil engineering, there's so many opportunities. We understand that there's a lot of infrastructure going on. We need civil engineering, but you got to go through the process. You just can't come out here and vent that, this is not happening. That's very unfair.
Don't go off the phone. Don't go off the phone. When you finish, don't go off the phone. I want to say something to you. Don't go off the phone. Yeah. So just tell me when you finish.
Right. And then the other thing is that the zookeeper guy who wants to resurrect.
Oh, no, don't worry him. He's just saying, I know this, I know that. I
understand that.
I know to fix this. I know to fix that.
I can come to Guyana and we can say, okay, we want to send a shuttle to the moon because I've been playing video games. This is the kind of mentality that some of these folks in the diaspora think. That they come here, we work, we are not entrepreneurs, we work for companies. I work in one of the largest healthcare companies on the northeast coast of New York. I have services I can offer to Guyana, but I realize what can do that. I have to go there if I want and establish myself and offer the service into the government, but I have to have certain entrepreneurial background. The other thing I want to talk about is the healthcare system in Guyana. We have gotten a healthcare system that was, neglected for 5 years. To develop it, we understand that. As Gildarie, who just returned from New York, as he said, he may have seen this. We see this every day. If you don't have insurance here, you're dead in the water. The state picks it up or the federal government has to pick it up. They're not going to deny you of it. But Guyana, it's free. And what we're getting, I'm not saying I'm not condoning it 100%, but slowly we're getting there. With
it is. It's a long time. It's going to take a long time to get.
No, No, it's going to get there, especially with Mount Sinai. They're a powerhouse in New York. They're big. Their infrastructure and their IT and everything is massive.
Or let me say a couple of things to you there, and I think you've made some some very solid points, and I like what you're saying there. I fully agree. I believe there's two things that happen here. When the government goes to the diaspora and say, look, we want you to come back, they're meaning that you come take up whatever opportunities or let us see how we can assist you. There's a remigrant program and there's a couple of other things. But I am living in Guyana here and I don't get a handout from government and we sit in where we're supposed. I think we have a voice. We don't get anything. Right. So hold on, Freddie Kissoon. Allow me to say what I have to say, Freddie Kissoon.
Go on.
Look, I don't get anything from government. Yes, I behave like the man from Good Morning Britain. Look, this thing is something that I'm very passionate about it for the simple reason I've seen people complain. And people have said that this government is not giving them anything. How could you walk in the country ahead of everybody else and get through? The government is going to drop everything and give it to you. There are opportunities here. You have to tender, you have to come, and there's a procedure, there's an application like that gentleman talked about the application a little earlier. You have to go through the procedures. You have to apply and go through those screening process. But you can't expect that the government is going to take the hard-earned taxpayer dollars or whatever we get from oil and say, hey, take it and take a contract or take a position that is $10,000 a month or whatever. Don't expect that.
I will tell you, many of them are struggling big time here and they expect, okay, I'm going to go to Guyana, I'm going to get a handout and, I'm going to live anyway. I'm going to go to
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Here what I'm going to tell you.
The mentality of just like what the APNU folks are doing, they make these broad statements without having evidence, and when you ask for it, nothing to produce. Anyway, go ahead, Fred.
Here was my problem after being so many decades as a public figure. Here was the problem I have encountered with the diaspora, and this is 20 years ago, 15 years ago, this is yesterday. And if you listen carefully on the program this evening, this is what I have found. And I don't know how governments deal with it and how the Guyana government deal with it. I find, and I get emails, but this all the time in the past year, I find when people retire and they're qualified and they have a skill, they would say, I want to come to Guyana, I offered my skill, like the Spanish guy said he's retired. And do you know how people feel? Imagine how a government feel when a guy give 35 years of his skill, his talent, his erudition, his sagacity to another land, and then he retires, and he wants to come in Guyana and have a job in aeronautics, in this, in that. But why didn't he give us that 35 years? You know how great Guyana would have been? We made a big fuss. We made a big fuss at UG that every time UG Vice Chancellor vacancy comes, somebody from the diaspora fills it. And a guy came from the diaspora named Griffith. And when he took up the job, he was talking about his experience 31 years in traveling in the world. And we had academics as talented as him. I could just name you Dr. Mark Curtin. And they come when they're retired and they want these jobs. Now, I am not saying that people who are skilled and are not retired and they want to apply to Guyana to work, I think the government should look at them. But I have seen too many retirees want to come and have big jobs in Guyana. I have a problem with that. I stayed in Guyana all the years. My wife won the whole of Canada award for the best graduating student in chemical engineering, and she worked here all her life. And you have these people, 40 years of giving their service to other countries, and then when retirement age hits, I'm going to come over in Guyana and run Gaisuku. No, man, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
That's my point.
It doesn't work like that.
Many of them, I know plenty of them here who have retirement or on the verge of retirement. They want to double dip into the system. They will collect their social security, get it posted to Guyana, want to look for a job, and expect the government should put them in front of the line. Listen, I have a specialized skill. I'm not going to want to talk about it. And I know Guyana is heading that way. I'm waiting for my time. It's not that I'm going to make a demand, but I want to contribute back to my country. I'm not bragging or boasting, but I see there's a value in it. But I'm going to wait for the time. But it's a time for Guyanese, especially with gold scholarships. We need to identify the gaps in Guyana. Okay, if somebody has the qualification and they're the only one and they applied and go through the process, give them the opportunity. We know that we have this. We need to fill gaps here. But everyone can't come and say, okay, I've been a Spanish teacher. We get thousands and we get big, tuition. We can probably get all those Spanish off the boat.
All right, well, caller, thank you very much. I think we have you. But you've made some very solid points. So some really good.
Can I just make one last point?
Sure.
Because I'm very passionate about this.
Thank you.
This conference in Washington, D.C.
Quickly, we have other callers.
Demeaning as a Guyanese to see that clown show that was put on there. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much for coming through. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming through, caller.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Hello?
Talking about the right? Yeah, they went over there for better good living. Now because of the island,
We don't hear you very clear,
Could you speak up? Hello?
Yes, I can speak. But
Could you speak up louder?
yeah. Yes. No, they coming over here in drones because the family been. When they went over there, they been thinking about what happened with the family them over here.
I don't understand what you're saying.
She's saying a lot of Guyanese went abroad.
Right. Oh, okay.
And when they went abroad and worked, they weren't thinking about their families back here. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. But
No,
even to the U.S., look, all of them, now they're trying to come back here and open businesses.
All right. I'm glad that this issue come back. Let me tell you what I think it should happen. Guyana government is looking, or the government of Guyana is looking for Guyanese who could make contributions towards this country. The contribution doesn't necessarily mean you fill government positions. But the Guyana government, I think, either the people don't understand or it's not being communicated properly to them. And what do I mean by that? If you're going to go to the diaspora, you go to the town hall meetings and say, look, I'm inviting you to come to our country or to come back to Guyana and make a contribution, it has to be set out very, very clear. Because I know a man sell out his house in the remigrant scheme and he going back. He says to tell him to come, they're going to open a remigrant scheme and they're going to gate it. And they can put drains and so on. He said it took 8 years later, they still haven't done that. You got to make it very clear what the conditions are. So when these people come in, they know what they expect. It's not a cushy job that they're going to get.
No, you know what I'm annoyed about? Everybody, they just did. I just want to go over there and all of a sudden, I had to leave my job because of And now, because the people asking me to go back with my job. But I'm telling you, these people, they asking people, and some people that they're, I know Freddie Kissoon, when he was there, he used to I call you back.
All right.
Good. Thank you very much for coming through. Bye-bye. Well, people are very passionate. I think the other side of the story that is going to come out, Freddie, is whether the government has a level playing field. So you want to attract the diaspora to come back. Are the same level of benefits are being given to the Guyanese people who've been living here, working here over the years? I've seen that argument.
No, but there's another dimension. But if there's a call on the line,
there's a call here.
There's something else I wanted to tell you about these diaspora people.
Okay. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Yes.
Hi. Yes. Go right ahead.
Yes. Freddie and Gildarie, the caller before, saying about the people in diaspora coming back and they wait all this time then to come back. They got to study. The people got a big student loan to pay. To become an engineer in this country, the kind of money it costs in America, you got to pay off the loan first.
So when you go to Guyana, you can come with wealth experience and everything. You need real experienced people. Don't study, they come in when they retire. They come in if you have the loan. Some people still paying off the loan in America for their education. So you got to look at all these things.
No,
you can't just jump and say.
No, you're missing a point. You're missing a point the guy made. Those people who are paid have to pay for their engineering education, etc. When they graduate, they work in those foreign countries. They don't go and take a student loan and come back to Guyana and pay their student loan back from Guyana. They pay their student loan back in the UK, Europe, Canada, or US, and they work there. And all the guy is saying is that if you work there and you retire, you can't come back and get benefits here. There are very few Guyanese who migrated and went to university, did their 4 years for his degree or their 2 years master's, and then they come back. Unless they're sent by Guyana government, they're on Guyana government scholarship. If people migrate, then they migrate for better life, and they have a right to a better life. But then there's something that's inevitable called retirement, and you can't just take yourself come back here and want to run Gaisuku when the engineers who are working here, living here, who can run Gaisuku. I think that is my position and my experience in being a public figure for the past 55 years. I have got email, got telephone calls, and met people who are in their 60s and who said, look, I want to come back. You know, Freddie, I did this, I did that. I know this, I did that. But you got to look at the government's position. Every year, UG Faculty of Technology turns out graduates in architecture, electrical engineering, civil engineering, all kinds of things. We need to give those people jobs. I for one do not agree the past 10 years that we should have had a vice chancellor to fill UG's vacancy that is from the diaspora, that live and get all kinds of money to publish books. I worked at UG for 26 years and couldn't get $10,000 Guyanese to do research in Barbados. And these people live outside, get hundreds of millions of dollars in grants to write books, to travel, and then they come here and want to run UG. I think the NIS, the GRA, UG, the Forestry Commission, the Auditor General's Office, I think that should be for people who are qualified and who stay there, not those who give 40 years outside and then want to come back. No, I can't agree with that. No.
And one more thing, quickly. I want to know if the government is serious, why don't they do a job fair in the US if they're really looking for workers to come to Guyana? Do a job fair.
I don't think it's that they're going to the US for, what they're saying. Our country is open, and that has been a policy of this government for the longest while. I think APNA used to do it. I think all of them go to the diaspora because they know the diaspora is over, 700,000 people?
Almost a million.
Almost a million. So you have a big market that you could tap. You're not only tapping in for investments, but you have a job market there. And so if you're saying to people, look, you have a lot of investments there, could you bring some of that in Guyana? So it's not just saying we have job openings for you. I don't think that's what the government has been saying. But the rules of engagement, you got to be very clear. You got to tell the people very clear what it is. I'm not sure whether people are getting that message. Correct. I don't think they're getting the message.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, fellas. Have a good night.
Thank you for that. We had some very good calls tonight, Freddie.
Well, the prodigal son is back.
I'm not about that. They like you, I didn't hit my hands on the table because I'm the British broadcast. So.
You like him, of course.
I like that.
You admitting your perversities.
There's nothing wrong.
You're admitting your perversities in the program. The man got the laptop open on the plane, and you peeping to see it.
Well, he had it open and he had a ministry thing working. And I want to know why he got the people in business just skinning up like that on the thing. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, hi. Hey, Leonard, do me a favor. Can you ask Freddie?
You listen to you ask yourself.
All right, Freddie, do me a favor. Can you text me via Leonard's phone? your email address because I've been trying. And I
Okay,
thought
my
it was
email address is
Freddie
very
at
simple. If I tell you it right now, you can't forget it.
No, I thought it was Freddie at yahoo.com.
No, not Freddie. Fred Kissoon at yahoo.com.
Okay, Fred Kissoon. Okay, because I actually
Small letters, one word. Fred Kissoon at yahoo.com.
Thank you for coming.
Can you ask my friend Leonard to send it to text?
I will as soon as the program is over.
Thank you very much.
I will.
Bye bye. Good evening, caller. Yes. Good evening. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Gildarie, I just hope the mayor of Georgetown is listening to this. You know, I know they got hiccups with collecting revenues, but please do something around Big Market and Demco. So, oh my gosh, it's such an embarrassment every day in that place.
I know.
People still getting choked.
You want to really go there and show that winding down. You want to start with Starbucks Market. If you want to start changing this country, the people got to change within this. Be the change. And if you're very serious about changing this country, if you want to change Starbucks, you got to start from the top, coming down to the bottom. I see the president just go out and cleaning around the place, and so the minute he turn it back too down, let somebody take a garbage thing and dump it around the area. That is the people's culture. We need to start
What
changing.
I'm saying to you, Mr. Gildarie, you're right what you're saying, but they need more police. And if you go in front of Demco House after 7 o'clock, it's all the young criminals and gambling them stuff. Why is that got to keep going on all the time? There's
Because
no
the police are in bed with some of them. You got police there that were turning a blind eye. You see, I saw a video. I don't know if Freddie Kissoon saw it. The policeman stopped a man, and the man, it's like it was a movie. The policeman on top of the bonnet, and the man drive away with the policeman on top of the bonnet. He get 12 charges on him. Today he went to court, 12 charges.
I think when that caller goes...
I'm tired, man.
That caller is still on the line?
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. Freddie, I gotta call you when I come. I was one of your last long cousins, man.
Okay.
What about you? You teach your family all over the place.
I got family, cousins. I teach everybody.
Yeah. I played soccer with lightweight, man.
Oh, that's my brother. Yeah. Leonard.
When I come together this weekend, I'll give you a call.
Yeah. Leonard Gildarie is a novice. He born yesterday. Anyway, good time.
You can tell me soon that he used to teach.
I know you from since Darwin Street, Mister.
Well, look at that. That's where I grew up, right?
You can tell me one day he teach Eddie Jagger and I'm grandfather.
Yeah, that's the primary school I went to. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Just my mother went to that school. My mother used cousins, man.
I like old time stories, man. Oh, geez. Thank you very much for coming through. God bless.
All right, see you. Bye.
Good evening, caller.
Hello.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Leonard Gildarie.
Well, it's really Freddie Kissoon too, but go ahead.
No, that's how it's all. Yeah. This is Leonard Gildarie.
Listen, I'm living in the U.S., man, and I was watching and I turned on my television. Listen, I like you guys' show, and I'm a very interested citizen in the diaspora. Listen.
But Gildarie said he's leaving the show. Gildarie said he wants to leave the show.
I always, even if I miss it, I watch it next day. I'm a trucker. But listen, I see the people come in Washington, and this Amerindian lady, I had respect for her, man, Don Haston William or whatever. And she was babbling and saying all this kind of thing, that no money trickling down to the Amerindian, and the Amerindian people is victimized. Man, listen, man, I'm an Indian guy. I don't have race. My wife is black. But listen, the thing is that why I'm worried about, in Guyana, we have the Amerindian hostel on Princess Street. I know about that. We have the Amerindian, everything going on.
It's moved to Liliendal. The Amerindian hostel is in Liliendal now.
We Indians don't have nothing, and Portuguese don't have nothing, and European don't have nothing. So why Dan Haston William is lying and nobody is saying nothing about it, man?
But hold on, but you can't say that. You can't say that. Boss man, then people went, and I asked Freddie in the beginning of the show, did you see a statement? I would like to see what is the official statement of what they went there, because they represent, according to the elections of 2020, 217,000, 218,000 persons voted for them. And now, if you went to Washington to make a case, what did you say to the people that you met there? What was the outcome? Did you make recommendations? Did the people say anything to you? we would like to see a statement, and we haven't seen that as yet.
Okay.
So it's difficult. I want to know what Don Hayes
she
says.
was literally lying. She was lying and said nothing for the American people. You know, for the LCDS, and so they getting that money. You know, the people, them, the president, everybody. You know, look when they upload them cut 2,000 jobs for the CSOs. Them, so she is not talking about that. And what I'm saying, PPP government, they are doing a lot of things for the American, and she's lying. She's lying on Capitol Hill today, and I don't hear nobody calling to say nothing about that. And I'm very
What
worried.
part you saw that? Where was it showing?
I saw it on the news. I watched Gordon Mosley news just now before tuning into you guys, man.
Oh, okay,
And she was lying. So you just check it out. And,
Well, this is why I don't understand. I don't understand such a big event, such a big forum, such a big platform that they would have gone to, and there's not a peep to say what happened.
Yeah. I know they don't make sense. Everything they talk, they don't even know to address themselves properly, man. But I want you guys to check it out and just address it, and you could lament on it or elaborate on it a little, because she's literally lying on Capitol Hill.
Time is catching up
nobody
now.
calling and say anything about it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much for calling in, and I
Thank
hope
you very much, man. I enjoy you guys' program. Man. Keep up the good work.
You in New York?
All right, thank you.
Okay,
You in New York, sir? Oh, you gone? The thing. Oh, so we got just a couple minutes more, Freddie.
Yeah, that's
Anything
what I
that's
was
bothering
telling
your
you.
head or anything?
No, let's see if any call. The thing I said, but when the call came in, when we first started this program, is that those people. Oh, okay.
Okay. Good evening, caller. Hello.
Good night.
Good night.
You know what the people say to them in Washington? You know what the people tell them? Bring the evidence.
Where you saw that? Where did you see that? Where you saw that?
Now where we saw it, how he knows that.
No, but how did you how you knew this was said to them?
They said to bring the evidence.
No, how did you learn of that? Where you read that or?
It's in the papers.
It's in the which you say you read that?
Yes, it's in Professor Randy Prasad wrote. Professor Randy Prasad wrote a very poignant letter today. He said he lived 31 years in Washington. Of course he did.
Well, if you
and
say...
he said, what happens? I can knock my hand down and said, Gildarie, I'm talking. He's saying that it is natural for the government of the United States official to listen to them and say, can you provide us with the evidence? And he's absolutely right. The PNC people that went up there, either they're making themselves comical or they're reducing themselves in the eyes of American government officials. When you make these claims, these people expect documentation. These people expect you to say the government shared out 70 laptops in Bobby's only. You know, that they want the...
Caller, thank you very much for coming through. Very good points. We got to go now. Operators are they get the hell out of Dodge. Thank you very much.
Well, we got 6 minutes more.
6 minutes more?
Late. We started.
Okay, well, let's go again. I think there's a caller coming through. Very quickly, caller. Go right ahead. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Leonard, and how you doing, Mr. Gildarie?
Pretty good, sir. Go right ahead.
And Freddie, you're okay?
I'm never okay.
Freddie?
I'm never okay. The world is always going in the wrong direction, and it worries me. The world and people.
Goodness.
The world and
like
people.
Neil Diamond, do you?
The world and people. Anyway, yeah, go ahead, sir.
You like Neil Diamond?
Oh, very much so. My wife will...
Well, what would you be talking tonight? You know, remember that song, I Am, I Said?
Yes, I am, I said, yeah.
You want to ask me if I know Neil Diamond, so?
And then he said that you were speaking to the chair, and even the chair didn't hear him.
Yeah.
Well, some of the folks in diaspora feel that way sometimes. I'm going to do that quick song for you today.
No, we don't have the time. We're out of time.
Don't worry, I know the song. I know all the Neil Diamond songs.
It's very fast. It goes like this. LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, New York's home, yeah, right.
Trees grow and rents are low, but you know I keep thinking about my way back.
I am, I said.
Yeah, born and raised, but nowadays I'm lost between two shores.
LA is fine, but it ain't home.
But it ain't home.
Right, we gotta go. Call coming in.
Twilight zone.
We gotta go. Call coming in. Thanks for coming through. I know that guy.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
Call, we gotta go now. Thank you very much.
Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go right ahead.
You know who said that? Bring the evidence.
Who said that?
Miss, the Congresswoman, Maxine Waters. Tell them to bring the evidence.
Well,
I know, sir.
Let me stop you there.
Well, that's what
that is significant.
If Maxine Waters, the Congresswoman, since 1991, tell them to bring the evidence.
Well, if that happened, that is significant because that shows it very clearly. You went unprepared. You represented or you did not represent the people. So you went there and you made some verbal statements to the people there, and you said, "I have evidence of so and so," and you didn't get it. And the people, imagine you're going to see the people, and like you said, and you didn't give that to them.
They have been. Listen.
So why did you go to Washington, Freddie Kissoon?
There is a school of African rights people in this country, the opposition, also the surrogates. We have a creeping apartheid. We have contracts being denied. And all the Guyanese people, like myself, I consider myself an insane human rights activist. I would like to see the document, and when I sit down with people in the government, I would say, look, man, how you give out 70 laptops in Port Morant. You give out 70 laptops in Enmore. You give out 70 laptops in Enmore. Man, you're giving nothing to...
I would expect... Hold on, Freddie.
I want to see that
if you go into Washington, I would expect, let's say there's 5 different people.
A creeping apartheid.
Yeah. Somebody who's a shadow minister, the attorney general or whatever. Somebody who's a shadow minister of crime. Public Works or whatever, and each one of them make their contribution, and that is contained where you say in a document, and that I would love to give that to the Guyanese journalists and say, look, boss man, this is the corruption in the finale.
Stop knocking the table here.
I got the man.
Resemble the man that
I think. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing.
Yes.
There was some evidence. There was some evidence. There was not a lot of evidence, but there was some evidence. They passed. I know about the conference.
All right.
I can tell you that there was some evidence.
Is there a video anywhere that we can look at? Because I would like to know what my...
But they would have sent that video to their own people here. You see, God...
I got your number. I have your number. I'm going to send it to you.
All right, that'd be great. So send us. Let's have a look. It is good to analyze and dissect these things. Have a good night, sir.
You too.
All right. Freddie Kissoon, very quickly, what do you have to say to the people of Guyana? You have any guavas in the tree?
Yes, actually, right now, at the moment, there are guavas in the tree. They're still young. But I will end on the note that there has always been this dream in my heart. I mean, that is who I am. Maybe because of the poverty I grew up with in Waterville. People look for happiness and they look for betterment. When you get what we in Guyana call a picnic, when you see that picnic, you want that picnic to have what that picnic is entitled to. And I hope when people are fleeing here from Haiti, from wherever, we had 6 persons from Nepal deported and kept in the breakdown lockup until the people find their own passage to go back to Nepal. Those Venezuelans that landed at Tushin, they have family here that are willing to welcome them. These people came with food in bag and those kind of things. I will end by saying, I know how the world treated Guyanese when Guyanese were fleeing, taking winged impulse. And I know how the world treated us. The world welcomed us. And today in Italy, in Iceland, in Greece, you can find a Guyanese highly qualified. Guyana must welcome people fleeing for a better life.
Yesterday, I had to drop a relative from Diamond to Grove. And normally if you want to get out of Diamond, you got to use the Diamond access road. And then you take the public road and you get into Grove back. I didn't know that they opened a road linking Diamond to Grove behind Caneville area there.
So you could
Freddie
bypass
Kissoon.
Diamond. No, I want
Freddie Kissoon, you could drive from Georgetown.
No, and bypass the
straight up the Grove and not use the public road.
And not. Oh, fine. That worries my wife.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this country, and let me in closing, it has been an interesting program. I've learned so much. And it is good when you see our Guyanese overseas, a lot of debate about the diaspora.
When you tell the people you're leaving the program.
Yeah, I want to leave. Maybe it's still, it is bothering me what I've learned today. And I believe
we leaving the program.
Freddie, you don't know whether you want that. But look, at the end of the day, let us don't be comfortable where we are. Let's agitate for a better Guyana. The government don't have all the answers. They're trying. I think they're doing a remarkable job. Finally, I think, is leading from the front as the president of Guyana. But we, as watchdogs, as people commentators, and you as Guyanese too, living in this country, you have a role to play. So I would just Freddie and myself, close by saying something to you. The real evil occurs when a few good people or good people sit down and say nothing. That's when the real evil occurs. So wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing, please, for heaven's sake, stay safe on our roadways. We want you to live a little longer. Do not take and drive away with any policeman on your bonnet like that video that I saw. It looked a little funny and people made fun of it, but it's a serious thing against law and order in this country. It does not bode well when you see videos like that. Stay safe on our roadways. We're going to be back on Monday.